Oh, the music stopped.
It's something about that music. I mean, it really always hits me.
I love fair use beats. They're just
This is Kyle's all the credit for that.
Found
And
it.
if you haven't checked out Rumors Baby, he also created that intro song.
That's a good one too.
Welcome to Paneloid's comic book live stream. I'm your host with a mild case of dyslexia. I can't even say it. My name's Pierre, and today I'm joined by Jeremiah, whose wife probably is still in the dark about how much he spent on that Spirit comic book, and our resident producer, editor, clip maker, notes taker, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, son of a gun, Kyle. Woo! But let's get right into it because we also have a very, very, very special guest for you this week. Oh, special guest, why don't you tell us who you are?
so many varies. I'm thrilled to be here, guys. Paneloids is near and dear to my heart. My name is Dan Crary. I am the Director of Marketing and Communications over at Oni Press. Prior to that, I was at Vault Comics for a few years, doing sales and marketing work over there as well. The only reason that I'm on this show is because Kyle had the tenacity to cold email me about getting some Vault talent on Paneloids. I believe it was Zach Kaplan was the first one that we did, and just hit it off with this Kyle guy. He produced another show for me while I was at Vault, and he's one of my favorite people. So when I was looking to kind of start getting back out there, now that I've been at Oni for a few months, just hit Kyle up on the side and was like, "What are you guys doing?" So here I am, comic book enthusiast, marketing professional. And general menace to society.
With perfect hair.
Stop.
So my first question was just if you missed me as much as I missed you, but that's kind of clear.
I cannot put into words how much I so appreciate when I get a text from you, Kyle. I'm just like, oh, he still thinks of me. No. Of course I missed you. What are you talking about? We've been through the trenches together.
That we have. All right, so let's just start with a little fluff. Just a little bit of fluff. What are you reading right now? What are you watching? What have you been getting into?
Watching right now. I just finished the finale of the current season of Doctor Who and started a rewatch. So just dropped back into Christopher Eccleston, and my wife didn't realize.
Back at 9 and going all the way through.
Yep. My wife didn't realize I'd gone back that far, and she was like, "Oh, not this, Doctor." And I was like, It's 13 episodes. We'll get through it. I was a pretty big Who fan, and my wife is as well. So on our 1 year wedding anniversary, we got tattoos together. So I got her handwriting. It'll be backwards. No, it'll be forwards. So that's her handwriting. It says Geronimo, and then she has my handwriting on her neck that says Allons-y. So we're those nerds. So doing some Who right now. Reading wise, I'm reading The Ministry for the Future, which is a nonfiction book that's pretty intense. But then also, are you guys Ducks fans? You guys do you like Donald Duck?
Like Uncle Scrooge is what you're referring to?
Okay, hold on.
Oh boy.
I thought of the Mighty Ducks. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I guess. I mean, who doesn't like the Mighty Ducks?
He can't hear us right now, so we could just
probably not. Look at the hair though.
It's perfect.
This is the problem. Okay, so Donald Duck, as you know him, is really owed to the efforts of Carl Barks,
of course,
an animator, and then did the Donald Duck comics for decades uncredited. There's an amazing YouTube video by Matt with 4 T's where he talks about the whole history of the Duckman and everything. So I got the complete Carl Barks library, and I'm working my way through all the Duck books right now. One of the first comics I ever got was old Scrooge comics from my mom that she had when she was a kid. So
the Gold Key stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
So so that's what I'm reading right now. Outside of every PDF that comes in and all the new preview pages for EC and everything. Obviously, there's the work reading, but just in me time.
I think you and Jeremiah have the same sickness.
Can I throw a fun fact out real quick?
Always.
Anyone have
Um,
alcohol?
Did you know that Donald Duck is the only Disney character that first appeared in comics before anywhere else?
I did know that.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fun. So yeah, tearing my way through that. I just got the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale Batman omnibus. I got to crack that open at some point.
Oh, for Long Halloween and Haunted Night and Dark
And
Victory,
Dark
even though I
Victory, yeah.
completely forgot about Dark Victory and someone called me on my shit. Transitioning, can you tell us anything cool about Scott Pilgrim? I noticed that we've got 2 box sets coming up or are out. What else is going on with Scott Pilgrim? It's the anniversary.
Scott Pilgrim is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year, which is a tremendous milestone. I'm not going to try to guess anybody's age on this stream, but I have a feeling we all kind of grew up with Scott Pilgrim in some sense or another. I first read the books in college when right before the movie came out, and really loved it ever since. Obviously, the new anime adaptation was a huge hit, so celebrating Scott's 20th anniversary, there's going to be some cool stuff at San Diego Comic-Con that I can't talk about for like another 2 weeks. But once that's out there, I think around July 10th or 11th, we'll have a nice little announcement about some cool stuff happening there, some things you can get, some people you can see. Just that'll be pretty neat. But we also have a fantastic set of archival grade art prints that are being made for the 20th anniversary. And they're nice, big, beautiful prints. And they come in like this portfolio slipcase. They've got like the thin sheet of like tissue paper on them. So they're very high end, very deluxe. And we've revealed all 20 images that are in it, but it's a 21 image set. So you get one bonus image that nobody's seen. There's 4 different new original pieces that Brian Lee O'Malley did that you'll get in there. And then we've also got the first volume completely redone as Scott Pilgrim, the coloring book. So it is a coloring book
That's
of
cool as
volume
hell.
1.
That's
so
awesome.
the 20th anniversary box sets are out in August, and then the coloring book and the portfolio set, those are both out in September.
That is such a great idea.
It's going to be a couple of big Scott Pilgrim announcements here in the next little bit. So keep your eyes peeled. There'll be some cool stuff happening.
Now
very
there's 2
excited.
box sets, right? Colored and then
Yes.
a black and white.
Yeah, the black and white one is gorgeous. It is yellow and black, and you've got all the volumes and then an additional bonus volume and a bunch of inserts, stickers, cards, extras in there. And then there's the colorized version as well. The thing that I loved the most about it is they took all the main characters and made little headshots of them that goes around the exterior of the box. And it looks like a PS2 box.
Oh,
like it's
awesome.
Enough to be legally distinct and separate from. It's different, but there's clearly some design inspiration that went into it. And they look, I got to handle one at our company retreat earlier, and they are hefty.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very excited about it. I think it's going to be it's a great year to be a Scott Pilgrim fan. It's always a great time to be a Scott Pilgrim fan, but like there's going to be some cool stuff. Glad to hear you're sold, dude. It's going to be good. Get your pre-orders in at your local comic shop.
It's awesome that that's what you can tell us, and that there's so much more still. And like I'm already like I'm with Phantom. I'm sold. Like that's sick. Like you got me on coloring book. Like I was like I'm done.
Okay, it's so cool. It's so cool, guys. It's great. I don't know why I haven't seen somebody do that before. It's such a good idea, and it turned out gorgeous.
That's awesome. I can't wait for that. Speaking of other things, Oni, can you tell us about the upcoming Rick and Morty comic book releases?
So Rick and Morty is wrapping up some of the coolest stuff they've done in a long time. Kingdom Balls has been their send-up of Kingdom Hearts, and like it's always a multiverse hopping shenanigans, right? But this one, they like tone perfect, nailed it. It's some of the best satire I've seen in comics in a while. I'm like genuinely, before I even came on board with the company, I was like, that looks like it might be interesting. And then now getting to read it in advance, like this is some of the best satirical comics work I've seen in 5 years, easy. It's like high caliber Rick and Morty. There will be another secret Rick and Morty announcement that I can't talk about yet, but late July, early August, we'll be doing some. We'll be announcing a very big, very cool Rick and Morty thing that will lead into other very big, very cool Rick and Morty stuff. So it's never far from our mind, and we are really excited to sort of crescendo the Rick and Morty offerings into something pretty cool. So there's a lot coming from Rick and Morty this year in particular, and then leading into 2025. Hey, look at that!
Okay.
That cut me up before I did, but brilliant. We have the 10th anniversary specials coming up, and it's going to be thick, beautiful, oversized bad boy, and I'm very excited to see that actually hit shelves. But it's crazy that we've been doing Rick and Morty comics as long as we have, and the series has been around this long. It's going to be the celebration of everything you love about Rick and Morty. It starts with Rick like packing up his garage. He's just like shutting it down. And of course, everything goes according to plan, right? Nothing
Always
crazy happens. And it's a 3-page story. It's just him closing the garage and it's done. No, it goes off the rails pretty quick, and it's an appropriate celebration for as appropriate as Rick and Morty can be.
That's awesome. I'm just getting into it now. And honestly, if you like the show, you're an avid, you watch the show, read the book, because the book just gives you so many more adventures. Like, I was just blown away with how like they take the universe and just expand so much on it. It's so great.
All right, I'm gonna need your mailing address, Pierre. I'm gonna send you some Rick and Morty stuff.
Oh, let's go. Yeah, I need to fill these walls. That's definitely what I need in my life.
Let's hook you up. Let's do it.
No, I'm a big fan of Rick and Morty. So
the back in the day, I remember when the #1 hit, because I was a retailer at the time, and it was one of the first times, because we had just become a retailer right around then, because it was 2015, and I ordered 50 copies of it. It's the only book that's sold out, and now the #1 first print is insane. It's a $400 or $500 book all day.
So you got it slabbed, right?
No, I do not. I do not have the Rick and Morty one. I saved myself a copy. Then someone came in and asked, and I gave it to him. So, speaking of Rick and Morty, Oni Press's history, a lot of it has done adaptations of animated shows. Biker Mice from Mars, Invader Zim, Rick and Morty, Clerks. This is completely speculative, but who would you like to see join the roster at Oni that is an animated show?
Okay, Street Sharks. Give me a Street Sharks comic all day, every day. Yeah. Not animated, but similarly campy and of the same time. Beetleborgs. You guys remember Beetleborgs? It was a Power Rangers ripoff.
Yeah,
you could
definitely.
do so much with that.
Those are two great callbacks. I love that.
Oh yeah. I would love to see. Boy, this one's a little ambitious and not a cartoon, but adjacent. I would love to see some new adaptations of Warcraft in comics and try to tell the canonical story of Warcraft all the way through in comics and give you like one, because it's gone on for over 20 years.
Yeah, that would bankrupt someone.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, you could tell hundreds of stories, hundreds of issues to get through like the total. I would love to see a big, expansive, long-running video game narrative that could make its way into an adaptation. But like other cartoons, where's my Rugrats comic at? I want a Rugrats comic.
It's been a hot minute since we've had a Rugrats comic.
I want some. I would love to see a Hey Arnold comic. That would be pretty sick.
Hey Arnold, Rocko's Modern Life. Like,
give me the Nicktoons. Give it to me. No, these licensing agreements are, a step above my pay grade, but I'm a big fan of animation, which, speaking of, I'm thrilled that Oni is now the home of Adventure Time comics. So Adventure Time is now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. That was announced back in February.
It's a big year for Adventure Time, too. They're coming out with a lot of things this year. So that's going to be huge for Oni.
Yeah, and there's going to be some brand new stuff coming out of there, as well as reissuing of the previously written, the 75 issue run.
At Boom, that's going to be
at Boom.
redone?
Yeah, we're going to be reissuing that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some different formats. So it's going to be
Omni.
your lips to God's ears. We'll see where it ends up, but there'll be end of July. We'll have some Adventure Time announcements. End of July, beginning of August. Keep your eyes peeled. But yeah, I actually just had a meeting today with the editor of Adventure Time and pitched her an idea. If it happens, Kyle, I'll text you and we'll try to set something up because it's going to be a big deal.
All right.
It's going to be a big deal. But
hold him to it, Kyle. Hold him to it.
Oh yeah. You'll know. You'll see the announcement and be like, "Did you do this?" Be like, "Well, it was my idea, but I didn't do it." No, it's honestly, it's a very fun place to work. Ren and Stimpy, the Smiling Friends. Oh, that would be freaking weird.
And both of those would be right up Oni's alley. Like both
100%.
of those. Yeah.
100%.
Hearts of Darkwater. Oh man, that's another one.
That's a great one.
There's so many things you could do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
And I think,
yeah. Two Angry Beavers. That was my shit. I love
right?
Two Angry
I mean,
Beavers.
Yeah, that was another one I thought of. 2 Angry Beavers.
Yeah.
okay, I've got two for you: Infinity Train and The Owl House. Those are two
Ooh.
canceled TV shows that I want to see back as comics, whether it's Oni, whether it's somewhere else. Please, God, if you're a creative that has the ability to make that happen, if you're a rights holder, hit Panelites and Kyle will redirect you to me.
That's awesome.
But no, I think like because so many animated shows have been canceled for various different reasons. There's a lot of unfinished stories in a lot of these amazing shows. And again, not my job, not my call, but be pretty cool. Somebody should do it.
Yeah. So it seems like July. There's July, August. It's going to be a lot coming from you guys.
But there's always a bunch of stuff announced in July in the comics industry, and I can never remember.
My God.
Oh, Chalk Zone.
That would be sick.
That would be so dope.
Oh, I'd be all about a Chalk Zone comic. Oh, that'd be great.
So July seems like it's going to be a lot. You're going to be dropping a lot.
I don't know what it is. The comics industry, always around like the third weekend in July, just goes nuts for some reason. Every year. It's crazy.
Every year.
Are any of y'all going to San Diego?
No.
We're all East Coast boys, right?
East Coast. NYCC all day.
NYCC. I love that show.
Yeah, that's where we're at. So other things that are coming out. Cult of the Lamb. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What it is? Because I don't know what it is, but I'm excited. So maybe give us a little synopsis of what's going on with that.
Cult of the Lamb is an amazing roguelike video game that has a phenomenal worldwide fan base. It is, if Hades and Animal Crossing had a gloriously deformed satanic child. It is
Jesus Christ.
One of my favorite. They are the cutest, cuddliest, most violent. So Lamb is the last lamb in this world. There's a prophecy that if a lamb is ever sacrificed, the great old one will come back. And so these 4 bishops, these 4 higher demonic type entities conspire to kill the lamb. They kill the lamb, but the lamb meets the one who waits, this great and terrible old thing, and is resurrected in his name and starts fighting their way out of there. And the lamb then starts their own cult in service of defeating the bishops. And when you play the game, you can potentially bring forth the cult and sacrifice yourself to the one who waits. Or maybe you can fight him at the end. So the first issue came out in June to much fanfare. The Kickstarter was a tremendous success. People are really excited to get the collected edition. But the thing that I found really cool about it is how the Cult of the Lamb community has responded, because it's a huge fan base. And they went absolutely nuts for it. Exactly. That's a great pitch. Happy Tree Fens and The Binding of Isaac. Oh yeah. If you liked The Binding of Isaac, it's not that dark because The Binding of Isaac is a very dark video game, but it's you can see the inspo there. But it's a game I've been playing for I don't know a few months now, and I really enjoyed it because you've got to like manage your cult back in the little village and like keep them fed and make sure you're growing crops and do ritualistic sacrifices, all the normal stuff to make a community thrive. But then you go out and run, do a run through a dungeon to try and defeat these bishops and gain level ups, gain more powers, gain better weapons, gain all that kind of stuff. So it's a super fun game. You can get it on Steam. They've got a local 2-player version that's coming out here in August as well. I think it's a patch on the game, but yeah, it's been super fun. And if you know nothing about the video game, if you've never played it, never picked it up, the comic is total ground floor entry point. You don't need to know a thing.
That's
and
awesome.
You will
That's
just fall into the world because they're we're going over some of the same beats from the video game. So it's the same sort of setup. It opens on lamb about to get sacrificed, and then you have the conversation with the one who waits. And yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that am I still muted? No, thank God. That game and comic book sounds crazy. I'm a big fan of Animal Crossing, so
oh my God, you have to
me.
play it then.
You
gotta play it.
I just wish everything's on Steam and I got a PS5. I mean, like, come on.
I've got it on Switch, but
can I do that?
Yeah,
you can buy it on Switch.
Yeah.
Done. I have a Switch. It's been hidden away somewhere. I don't know where it is, but
that makes me sad.
yeah. I don't have time. I never touch it. I wish I did.
Yeah.
This might give me a reason.
No, it's killer, and especially once you start to get into it and you look at all the fan art that people have done for it, people are absolutely crazy about it. We've actually commissioned several fan artists to do official covers for the book.
That is the
awesome.
greatest thing you could have said. I love when companies actually like reach out to the people who give a shit and get them involved somehow, some way.
It's been super exciting. We're calling them the cult follower variants for like the second printings.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's rad. The community really responded to it, and it's great to like give fan artists like a paid gig, like a professional gig to like
a published gig.
Portfolio. Yeah, like it's printed. It's thousands of copies are going out there in the world. Like your art gets to live outside of. Do people still use DeviantArt? Does that make me sound old?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't heard that in forever. I mean, people still use Tumblr, so
okay. Yeah, but
Tumblr page is still going strong.
They're hanging on. Meanwhile, Vine is rotting in the ground.
I miss Vine.
R.I.P.
Vine.
Forever with Harambe.
Oh God.
Wow. All right, let's change gears a little bit here, Jeremiah. I just want to bring something up. Just want to remind you of something. Do you recall when we interviewed Cullen Bunn?
Yes, I do.
And I told you not to do any gotcha questions or anything obnoxious, and you brought up Sparkly Lobo and then made him talk about Sparkly Lobo for like 30 minutes. Remember that?
It wasn't 30 minutes. It was just a little while. But yeah, I do remember that.
And I cut a lot. That's all. Anyway, Dan.
We talked about Sparkly Lobo 2 weeks ago. Anyways, but
go on. You want me to talk about Sparkly Lobo? I don't understand the setup. Do you want me to talk about Cullen Bunn? Because he's a delight.
I want you to talk about Cullen Bunn. I want you to talk about Cullen Bunn's new book, The Autumn Kingdom.
Ooh.
Segue there. Like that?
I like that. I like how you did that. So Autumn Kingdom is new book from Cullen about this fantasy author and his family going on a vacation, and his daughters discover some very interesting artifacts, statues, different things in the woods near the cabin that they're at. And you get a blending of the fantasy and the reality. This is not the pitch on it, but if you were a fan of things like Inkheart or The Unwritten, if you guys remember that Vertigo series, where the creators are definitely in conversation with creativity to some extent, but also just the merger of a fantastical world with the real world, and when those things collide, having real world stakes and having real world consequences. It's beautifully illustrated. Christopher Mitten's art is awesome in this book. I am very excited by all the pages that Bess Perales, the editor on that, keeps passing me. She knows I love Cullen's work. And it is, if you enjoy Cullen Bunn's work, who I don't know if he would say this about himself, but I'll say he's the greatest horror comics writer working today.
One of them, for sure.
Top 5 of anybody's list. If he's not in there, you're not reading enough horror comics.
Harrow County is within my top 5 books of all time. That series alone is up there. And I don't know what it is. I don't mean to cut you off, Dan, but
no, you're fine.
Cullen does a great job with female voices. So the fact that this is about 2 girls gets me more excited. I meant that. Oh, Kyle, don't make that face. I meant because he does a very good job with female narrative. I look at his Fearless Defenders run, look at Harrow County. Like he does a fantastic job with the female narrative. So I'm excited to see where he goes with this.
Well, and when you get into it and you actually get to meet the girls, their names are Summer and Winter. When you actually get to meet them and find them, they're alone in this fantasy realm for all intents and purposes. This was in the solicit text. I'm not spoiling anything, but their dynamic, their creativity, just their whole, like, if you have siblings, I think you'll really find something to latch onto there. Like Cullen does, I think, an excellent job of just incorporating humanity into the most horrifying things. And, Autumn Kingdom is not straight horror. It's fantastical, dark. It's dark fantasy horror, but it's got all the richness and the complexity that you would expect from the guy who wrote Six Gun. It's one of my top books of the fall. I'm so excited for this book.
Good time to release it, especially with the autumn theme.
Yeah.
We are in June. It is Pride Month. Happy Pride to everyone who celebrates.
Happy Pride.
So with Chef's Kiss and genderqueer success, would you say that the LGBTQ plus community has been helping comics reach new heights?
Absolutely. I also think that comics have proven an amazing home for LGBTQ stories. I think that historically, whether it's the Hays Code in Hollywood preventing anything like that from being depicted, or network television censorship, where for decades and decades, queer people were just treated as the butt of the joke, because comics has less of a bar to entry and comics has a lower threshold for financial success. There's just a lot more room for publishers and audience, readers to embrace and find the stories that they want without someone saying, well, we're not going to spend $6 million or $100 million or whatever on this kind of thing. Those kind of limitations that, reinforce the censorship around these things, which was stupid in the first place, just don't exist in comics. So anyone who's interested in LGBTQ plus stories, comics is home base. You're going to find, like, it's not just genderqueer. It's not just Chef's Kiss. It's not just the quick and easy guide. It's not just Dream Daddy Date Simulator. There's so many stories. I think, look at the sales numbers on the Heartstopper books, right? That was already a success, but since the TV show, it's just gone absolutely bananas. But I think we've got another book coming that's out now, Covenant. That's fantastic. It was published on Webtoons digitally, and we're bringing it to print for the first time. Maybe something cool Covenant related at San Diego Comic-Con. Just the Covenant fans, just putting it out there.
That's exciting.
But that's got a queer romance aspect to it as well, and it's not even like, it's just cool to me. I'm 34, and to see the kind of stories that are being told now, where the queerness isn't even like
it's not the thing. Yeah, it's
right. It's like
just around.
It's just a story that is, whether it is very much focused on identity and the queer lived experience, or if it's, you know, more focused on a fantastical element or a genre element that just happens to have queer people in it. Like, there is no shortage of queer comics out there. And I think that the secret is out to LGBTQ plus folks, to like, queer people are finding comics at a level they never have before. Allies are finding more queer comics and engaging with them at a higher level than they ever have before. And I think it's awesome to see, you know, amazing queer creators. You know, I got my David Tulaski Nightwing print there behind me. Big fan of Mr. Tulaski. But to see other people just absolutely crushing it. DJ Kirkland is an incredible queer artist. Oh, amazing. Dream Daddy was adorable. I know, right? Dream Daddy was pretty cute.
I love you,
John. Dream Daddy was very fun. I gave that to a friend because he'd played the game and he was like, oh, yes, please. Thank you. No, look, it's Mr. Ben Hennessy. Oh,
That's exciting.
my heart. Oh, Ben, I've got the print from you at the Framers now. I've got a spot picked out on my wall right here. I don't know if you guys saw Ben's amazing Rogue and Gambit piece. He posted it on Twitter a while ago, and I was like, print when? So he colored it. I bought it on the shop.
Sick.
And this beautiful man included a wonderfully kind handwritten note for me as well, and a Rogue sketch that he did that is like my prized possession now.
I'm so jealous.
That's
I'm
awesome.
so
You
jealous.
gotta show that off.
Oh, I will. It's again, you know, it's being framed right now, so I don't have it. But
That's one of my favorite covers. Is like the infamous Rogue and like Gambit kiss. Like, I think
The Adam Kubert kiss.
yeah, it's up there.
X-Men number
oh
24.
yeah,
Yeah,
I got
have it.
my copy. Yeah,
It's
it's classic. But no, Mr. Ben Hennessy is an absolute class act. One of my favorite people in comics.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
get
would
on board
love-
the Renaissance.
Yeah, there you go. I would love for genderqueer to end up in every single high school library, because I feel like it's necessary.
Well, and I do feel like it's in a very short period of time, genderqueer has really entered sort of the canon of American graphic memoir. And, you know, I look at other books that came before it, like Fun Home, one of my all-time favorites, that have really been building over years and years and becoming these cultural like touchstones. Genderqueer is obviously a huge and very important piece that has been in media for a whole lot of reasons. But it's cool to see how these books build over time, especially when something is available. I mean, in Genderqueer's case, it was an original graphic novel. It was always, you know, beefy little boy. But any time you see something move into a collected edition, if it started out as single issues, once that's a book and gets into the book trade and gets into libraries, to see how a title grows over years and years and years, it's really inspiring and cool to keep coming back to it and watch things sell more and get into more hands, and the fandom grows, and then people get inspired by it and start making their own things. And I think we're maybe 5 years away from new creators being interviewed saying, oh, when I read Genderqueer growing up, it inspired me to become an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that day. Honestly, I really can't. And before we move on to that, I just want to remind everyone, if you see a homophobe in June, high five them, because the high five was created by a gay man. So
There you go.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
So speaking of new things coming, right? So before we let Dan tell us about the new EC comics coming out, Jeremiah, we will give you the floor for exactly 2 minutes. We will put a timer for 2 minutes exactly. Fun facts, history, get it all out of your system, so then Dan can do his thing.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I love an education.
EC Comics was founded in 1945 by Maxwell Charles Gaines. The first books that he published were Land of the Lost and like international comics. He also did Animal Fables. Was moving on to adapting superheroes, died in a boating accident in 1947 in Lake Placid. His son William would take over the company and change history of comics forever, pushing every boundary possible. He claims to be the first person to bring horror comics to the U.S. shores. That's not true at all. Avon was the first to publish horror comics, but that's besides the point. The reason why we have credits in comics is because of EC. The reason why we know who creators are is because of EC. The reason why the Comic Book Code Authority was established was because of EC. And before we move on, and I'm going to stop right there. I mean, there's plenty of EC to get into.
No, keep going. You've got decades still to cover, man.
It's still a minute and 30 seconds
the
left.
company was only around for a decade and a year. It was only around for 11 years total.
Right. Okay.
So,
well, run us through all the series that came out in that time.
Tales of the Crypt, Haunts of Fear, Frontline Combat, Aces High, Two-Fisted Tales, Incredible Science Fiction, Weird Fantasy, Weird Science. Weird Fantasy 18 has the Judgment Day story, which also appeared in Incredible Science Fiction number 33, which I have and was homage.
1 minute left, Jeremiah. 1 minute on the clock.
Today by Paulo Rivera. Here's your Paulo Rivera fix of the day. If you said that wasn't an homage cover, you're wrong. And then he eventually transitioned into magazines and kept alive with Mad Magazine. There were not 3, but actually 4 original Ghoul Lunatics. Dan, can you name all 4? 3 are real easy.
Says Jeremiah.
The Crypt
for the
Keeper.
record.
Crypt Keeper,
The Old Witch.
the Old Witch,
The Tomb. Wasn't the Tomb? No.
You're warmer.
This is. I'm gonna get a talking to. You can't clip this one, Kyle. This one cannot be clipped. I'm telling you now. If you clip it, we're done. Oh God,
It's not your fault. Jeremiah is a freak of nature when it comes to this stuff. I don't know why.
Where were urns put?
The mausoleum?
Nope.
No.
Well, I mean,
urns?
the
When an urn is buried, it's put in what?
A grave. The grave. Okay, the grave.
Nope.
Yeah, it's. Where do you bury an urn?
Yeah, what type of...
They're all on
you bury an
shelves.
urn
This is
in
the
a
worst
vault.
clue ever. This
Oh,
is the
the
worst
vault
clue
keeper.
ever.
The
Right.
vault keeper. And then
I
the
would have gone
fourth
with
one,
Dan. Where did you used to work?
Yeah.
and the fourth one that most people do not know, she was very short-lived. She appeared in 3 issues. Drusilla. She was the final of Ghoul Lunatic, created by Johnny Craig, before they had to cancel their horror line in 1954.
The same
we have-
year that a
Comic Book Code was
famous,
established.
well, not only was that created, but another book was published that led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority.
Seduction
By-
of the Innocent.
There he
Frederick
is.
Wortham.
Frederick
Estes
Wortham.
Kiefhofer.
Yeah.
I
As long
have
as-
the whole recording of the trial. I got it from the Library of Congress.
How long is it?
So it's 2 parts. It's 2 days. The first one is like 6 hours, and the second one I think is 4 hours.
God,
Part of it's real bad,
I
because
don't doubt it.
they tried people who also produced CP at the time and made it seem like it was the same thing when it's definitely not. But that was just a different time in the world, unfortunately.
The Red Scare. Good thing that's gone, and we are not doing anything.
Anything
crazy
like that at all
anymore. Nope.
Well, Jeremiah, with that, your time is up. I hope you got it all out of your system.
Oh, I didn't, but we'll keep going.
Now, Dan, tell us a little about the new EC Comics.
So the new EC Comics is the first EC Comics published in almost 70 years, right? We're starting with 2 new series. We've got Epitaphs from the Abyss, which is an incredible horror anthology. There it is. Well done, Kyle. Look at you. So on it. Now, Epitaphs from the Abyss is our first one that's going to be out the end of July here, July 24th. And we've got incredible work from Brian Azzarello, Chris Condon, Jay Holtham, Stephanie Phillips. Peter Krause is doing art. Who
I
else?
love
We
that
got,
cover. Holy shit.
Jorge Fuentes. I know. I love that one too. That's the B cover there. And we've got some truly awesome stories in the vein of classic EC where they have something to say. They have tremendous twists. They're brilliantly executed. And the whole thing was, masterminded by our editor-in-chief and our publisher. Our publisher, Hunter Goranson, president and publisher, has been working with the EC estate for quite a long time to bring EC back. And Sierra Hahn, our editor-in-chief, has been shepherding these books into existence with such care and dedication. It's really inspiring to see the pages come in and how specific and clean and well executed all of these stories are. Like, this is being handled with as much love as it is terror. I'm very excited to see it come back in a way where it's new, right? Like, you can never recapture that 11-year run. That was a unique point in history, talking about unique issues of the day. It did. It changed the world. It changed the world of comics, especially. It changed American fiction. It influenced, everyone from Stephen King to, well, me.
Literally,
I mean,
everyone you can think of. Daniel Krause, Robert Crumb, Art Spiegelman, like the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah, I mean, comics, horror, science fiction. Most folks working in the American canon had some level of exposure to EC, and it really changed how people thought about fiction and took the nature of genre and pulp and gave it the deference it deserved. I won't say elevated it. I think the genre is always worthy of that, but just gave deference to genre fiction that had been dismissed elsewhere. So the first one back is going to be Epitaphs from the Abyss. Again, that's out on July 24th, first issue. It's also the first day of Comic-Con. So that's going to be fun. And then there'll be plenty of EC stuff to talk about at Comic-Con. So if you're going to be there, keep an eye out. And then the next new series is going to be Cruel Universe, which comes just 2 weeks later in August. There it is. This is our science fiction anthology. And Cruel Universe has... So that cover by Greg Smallwood was the first thing I got to really see from EC. And I was like, sold. I'm sold. Like, there is...
That is such classic EC. Dinosaurs, the bubble helmets, all the background, like, yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but we recently released a preview of one of the stories from Cruel Universe called Champions.
Yeah, Matt Kent is my boy. Kano's artwork on it is insane.
Oh, it's so good. So good. But you'll notice much similarities between Greg's cover there and between the story Champion. There's clearly in conversation with each other. So trying to the A cover always alluding to some story that takes place within the book. And that's the same with Epitaphs from the Abyss as well. Oh God, look at that. That is the J.H. Williams III cover. That is like,
I love.
I want that on my wall.
I love how you guys have kept the trade dress. I love how it feels EC. It feels so EC. We saw, Kyle had it up just a little while ago. We saw a variant that had the 3 new ghoul lunatics on there, like classic EC did with the Old Witch, the Crypt Keeper, and the Vault Keeper. So like, yeah, it's so exciting. I lost my shit when I heard this announcement because I've wanted this for so long.
I am so glad to hear that, Jeremiah. I'm probably going to need your mailing address as well now. Kyle, get in there, get on the board, and tell me you like something. But I'm just thrilled that folks have responded as well as they have, and seen, like, we're not going to bring back the original horror hosts. They were in their own titles, right? So having the Gravedigger, the Tormentor, and the Grim Inquisitor are three new horror hosts. It's really exciting. Dustin Weaver, I think, knocked it out of the park with his designs. They're uncanny in a way that I think works so well, because like creepy, scary, whatever, that's subjective. But things just being off, just wrong about an anatomy, just not correct. And seeing just all the detail that went into them. I really appreciate all the implements that the Tormentor is holding and has sheathed about her. There she is.
The fire poker.
Oh my God. Her royal travesty of pain, we've been calling her. She's just like, I really like her design. I think she's got a little bit of that Victorian feel, but is also so modern in the just horrific nature of what she's representing and how she's brandishing these implements. Like, this is,
I mean, give Dustin Weaver his fucking flowers, because like to have this responsibility to come up with these 3 new characters and design these 3 new characters with so much about EC. I don't want to say it was writing on these hosts, but it's such an important part of the history is these hosts. This is the Inquisitor, correct?
Yes, this is the Grim Inquisitor, the Deacon of Doom, the Viceroy of Vice, Principal of Punishment.
You can see the elements of the Vault Keeper. Like, you could say this is a Vault Keeper's son, essentially, or whatnot. But yeah, like, these are done so well in the classic but modern take. It's absolutely amazing. I'm very, very excited for this.
I'm so glad you responded the way that you have, because I think, and even when you look at the third and final one, the Gravedigger as well. There he is.
This one was inspired by me, I think.
Exactly. That is, you were the photo reference used. I think, it's obviously a huge responsibility and a huge undertaking to create these new EC horror hosts, and Dustin absolutely crushed it, where they feel familiar but fresh. They feel authentic, but they feel reinvigorated. It's not a retread, it's not a rehash, but they feel at home in an EC book. They make all the sense in the world. And I've just, the pickup on that release the other day, it just went far and wide. People got very, very excited about it, and they've been just flooding the internet. I am so excited. I cannot wait for the moment when we see the first fan art of the new horror hosts. So if you're an artist watching
we're probably like 4 hours out from that being a thing. So
again, your lips to God's ears, Jeremiah.
Yeah.
But yeah, exciting times to be an EC fan. And there will be some more major EC announcements coming this month. Again, I don't know. Well, this coming month, I don't know what it is about July. Just everybody goes nuts.
So the first 2 series, Epitaphs of the Abyss and Cruel Universe, are both 5-part minis. Correct. That's a slow nod. Okay. And so I'm just hoping that this isn't it. I'm really, really hoping that this isn't it. But go to your local comic book store, pick up
this. Isn't it?
Okay.
Hey, good. You got the pre-order card.
Yeah, I filled one out and then I took an extra.
I spent a lot of time working on that thing, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have this one I framed actually. But anyways, yes, go to your local comic book store, order EC through Oni. It's going to be a wild ride. Just the amount of talent that has already been announced, like that alone. I will read anything that Matt Kent. If he starts doing like shampoo descriptions, I'll buy that shampoo. So I'm just excited for more sci-fi stories. I'm excited for more horror stories. And if we keep it in the EC vein, there's new trends and new directions we can go down the line. So those 2 words very important in the long run.
I'll check back with you in a month.
All right. All right.
But there's the amount of talent that you just spoke to. Like, that's the awesome thing about an anthology series, is bringing in other people. We talked about Colin Bunn earlier, and he's going to be involved with some future EC stuff. We've got Klaus Janson is doing an EC story. We've got Jason Aaron doing an EC story.
Oh, like, my God,
just a murderer's row. And it just keeps
no pun
coming.
Intended.
100%. Puns are always intended, unless you're a coward. That one you can clip, Kyle.
I'm gonna clip everything.
I should have clipped my hair.
It's perfect. Don't you dare.
Keep this up. I'm gonna want to come back. No, we've been having a tremendous amount of fun with EC. Obviously, it's a huge responsibility, and everything has been handled with the utmost care because we know people really care about this. Like it means something to people.
This is a huge swing. Like this is a huge swing to try to bring back this company, or at least in the idea of this company, because it meant so much to so many people and it was so groundbreaking that this is a huge swing. And from what I see right now, you guys are staring that ball down. It's coming in and you're starting to like really line that barrel up. So
I mean,
I'm really
EC
excited to see
was
where that
progressive and EC was
Oh my
transgressive and
Mhm.
EC was countercultural. And I think these are all things that could be said of Oni. So the
yeah.
partnership really
with the
does,
history of Oni. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it does make sense in a lot of ways that this was sort of I won't say an inevitable, but an excellent home for EC to come to, because I think having our own history with our own series that have really made people think and have been pushing boundaries, we get it. And we want to do right by the spirit of William Gaines and by the EC fandom. I think that's all it comes down to.
I cannot wait. I'm really, really excited.
Me too.
To a fun question now.
Now that Jeremiah's gotten his EC jollies in, now we can have fun.
I'm still wired. Like I could keep going about EC, but we should move on.
Okay, we'll do an after show. You could just go on TikTok live by yourself. Would you rather have a portal gun, be the leader of a cult, or have 7 evil exes?
How meandering an answer can I give you?
You can meander as much as you would like.
We got 9 minutes.
All right, so I can't conceive of a world where I would have 7 evil exes because I was always the one dumped. So I'm probably the evil X for somebody out there. Like if I'm honest, I probably am. So it's fine. I'm confident in my wife's combat abilities, so I think she could stand well. Portal gun, I would absolutely. Hey, look at that! Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous.
Ooh, damn. Sorry, I got distracted. Portal gun would be extremely useful, but I would 100% not use it like Rick. I'd use it like Portal and Portal 2 and just cause all kinds of, like, I wouldn't go interdimensional. I'd just be like, I really need to solve this needlessly complicated puzzle in my backyard for some reason. Oh, and there was one more. It was Portal gun, 7 evil X's.
Leader of a cult.
Oh, leader of a cult. I'm already the leader of a cult.
Look at that hair. Like, I mean,
yeah, honestly.
That's where it comes from.
Yeah, it's, just get up there and just riz at people. That's what kids say, right? I want so desperately to be relevant.
Any upcoming convention appearances we should look out for? Obviously, we got San Diego in July. We got New York in October. Anything else that please come to Baltimore in September? Like,
next year, I'm hoping. Rose City Comic Con. We'll be at Rose City.
Yeah, it's your backyard. If you weren't there, I'd be
I know. Yeah. I'd like to make some more trips happen. But there may be one other big convention this year. We'll see what happens there. Working on some things in the background. We'll see. But yeah, for sure, come check us out at San Diego Comic-Con. And we're going to have a booth at Rose City Comic-Con. New York City Comic-Con, some of us will be there. There won't actually be an Oni presence. Like we won't have a booth, but you might see my mug doing a panel or something.
Find you.
Yeah. Oh, you'll find me. I'll text you. I'll turn on my location for you, Kyle. I'll be like,
but like, like your arms will go over and both of mine will go under.
Exactly.
Like a caress.
Could we? I mean, do you want to like walk around the floor at New York Comic Con like on my shoulders and we wear a trench coat?
He can do that though. He is the right size for it.
I'm the right height, not the right density.
Well, do you want to be the bottom and I'll be the top then?
Okay.
All right.
I can't wait for that to get cut.
I think I make the clips, so that's.
I was gonna say Kyle's safe. Kyle's safe.
Go along with it.
No, it's gonna be pretty rad. I'm excited to get out there. I love conventions. They're my absolute favorite because we get to meet fans face to face, get to talk to people about the stuff we're all excited about. I get to blow my paycheck on exclusives. It's great.
And expensive ass art. Anything else you want to mention about Oni while we have you?
Just Oni's doing some really cool stuff, guys. Like, I'm very, very excited about what the rest of 2024 has in store. I'm really excited about the direction that the company's heading. Oh, look at that. That's OG.
Yeah.
Look at
I've been
that.
an Oni fan for a while.
I guess. For something like, 20 years, 24 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I think my first Oni book I picked up was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's a very cool place to work. I'm really enjoying our entire team and departments are just like operating at an incredibly high level, producing an incredibly high volume books. It's very rewarding to be on this side of the industry after being a fan for so long, to see how the sausage is made, to see why decisions happen the way that they do. I have a lot more understanding for things that didn't make sense to me before, but now I get it. But also, I get to be excited before anybody else is excited because I get to see all the stuff first. So then when I go out there and talk to people and tell them, just wait until you see Call to the Lamb issue 3, I mean, just wait until you see Call to the Lamb issue 3. Like, it's a really, like, I love my job. I got the best job in the world, guys. I get to get people excited about comic books. Not really, can't ask for much more than that.
That's a dream. That's the
right?
dream.
It's pretty great. So Oni's been a fantastic place to work. We've got a bunch more announcements at San Diego. If you are not following us, here's the order of operations, folks watching at home. I need you to go join the Paneloids Discord. And then after that, follow Oni on our social channels because you're going to want to be kept up to date with what we got going on. Because we're going to be dropping some pretty cool announcements at San Diego.
Good
that
question,
one I
John.
can't speak to. I can't speak to that. But never hurts to ask. Always ask. Should always ask. But I can't speak to that one at this moment.
Yep. But with Tim gone, who's going to do the covers?
Yeah, that is. You got a question.
I keep getting reminded that Tim Sale's gone, and it keeps making me sadder.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
But no, this is. You guys are good at interviewing. This is fun.
We've had a lot of bad ones, so.
I don't doubt it. Everybody does.
Our first one was incredibly bad. I'm referring to Bendis as our first.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
Bendis was your first interview?
Kyle, do you want to tell them how we got Bendis?
So when Tumblr was cool, we actually had almost 30,000 followers, and we had a name that made more sense, and we were going to press to all the small conventions in the East Coast, and which was special
New York
edition,
special edition, yeah. Well, they only did it once. Which
New York special edition. I was at that show.
Great show.
We were there.
Wonderful show.
Yeah. No, there was 2. No, I think there was 2.
Oh yeah, there was 2. I only went.
Yeah,
we only went to the first one. Well, I only went to the first one. But anyways,
I went to.
Was that
So
17
the first
and 18?
15, 16.
Man, long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were online to get something signed by Bendis, and his handler, for lack of better words. One of us had some kind of shirt on.
You had a
that was
Paneloid shirt
relevant.
on.
Shirt on, and she recognized us from Tumblr, and I was just like, "Do you know how we could like get Bendis to like answer a question or two like on camera?" And she said yes, and we didn't have cameras,
Yeah.
so we like scrambled, and the
We were
interview is
staying
horrible.
at Kyle's house that night, and we go home from the con, and he's like, "We should go to Best Buy and buy cameras." Like,
Yeah,
it was
I'll
such
send
a
you the clip. It's on
last-minute
YouTube.
thing.
It's horrible.
That's
then she-
It's a joke.
amazing, though.
She said
That's-
we
you've just been taking swings since day one, Kyle. I always knew this about you.
Yeah.
I'm
It
gonna
was
scoop you
wonderful.
up. You're not careful. I'm gonna scoop you up.
Now I have that as a recording, so legally binding.
There you go. Listen, you give me some hiring authority, and I'm gonna start going nuts.
Hunter, you heard him. Hunter, you need a vice
All right.
president.
That's enough out of you.
So Dan, Being our official host, just magically left and we didn't acknowledge it at all. How would you like to be put on the spot and do a outro and take us out and end this live stream?
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. This has been the Paneloids comic book live stream, your #1 home every Wednesday for everything happening in the world of comics. That's Jeremiah. That's Kyle. This has been Dan, and we will see you next week.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan. Good to
That was
see you.
incredible.
Hugs and kisses. Hugs and kisses.
Thanks for having me, guys.